Hello everyone, welcome back to emaTechTalk. We've been discussing the emaLink management interface and wanted to make sure that we went through another powerful feature called Board Notify. And so right now we have myself and Matt to talk about this. Matt, take it away.
All right, Sean, thanks for the introduction. So as Sean mentioned, or if you've watched any of the previous Tech Talk videos around the emaLink interface feature, we're going to discuss Board Notify. We're actually going to show you how to get it up and running, how to set up the API application within the Summit account, and then use our interactive online tool to test it out. So let's get started. So again, from a hardware standpoint, we're using an EMA attached to the mini PCIe adapter card, the OptConnect mini PCIe adapter card, and then inserted into an off-the-shelf USB to mini PCIe converter. And that's just so that I can interact with EMA directly from my laptop here. And so let's talk a little bit about Board Notify. So we'll go to the emaLink AT command manual. Let me pull that up 1 second. And if we go to section 4, unsolicited response code, or I'm sorry, section 5, unsolicited response codes, we can open this up, we can expand it, and then we can scroll down to, let me just find it here, Board Notify. Excuse me. And so Board Notify, basically what this is, it's a notification that comes down from Summit, but it's invoked by any internet connected device that has access to a Summit account and the API access. And it's exposed over the emaLink interface with this syntax. So it's a URC and the value is 99. And the message is the data or the command data that you present when you make the API call from the internet connected device, whatever that may be. In this case, it's going to be my laptop. And so you have up to 160 bytes of data that you can use. And so let's go over to another document, which is the emaPlay user guide. And the reason I pull this document up is because if we go to the reference section 5, we go down to 5.5, getting started with EMA relative to the sample project, and we scroll down to section 5.5.9, there's a Board Notify via Summit API section in here. And this goes through everything you need step by step to basically use Board Notify and test it. And so that's what we're going to do. So let's scroll down here. The first thing we need to do is we need to create a new API application in Summit. And so the way we do that, let's pull up Summit. I've got our account pulled up here. This is the landing page. We're going to click on Menu. We're going to go down to Manage API Applications. And so this is going to pull up a list of all the API applications associated with this account. And you can see there's a few of them here. We're going to create a new one. This is a test account, so we can do this, at will. We'll click New API Application. We'll give it a name. We'll say Demo Test. The description is Board Notify Demo. And then the roles are, read data, write data, device read access, device actions, opt, reboot. And these are all things that you want to allow the internet connected device that's accessing the Summit API and reaching into your EMA or your device to have access to. And down here is the account access. These are the accounts that it's accessible by, or the accounts that the user has access to that can use this API application. So let's click Create. And so what's going to happen here is it's going to give you an app secret, and this is blurred out for obvious reasons. It's a security threat if we expose this. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Oops, 1 second. Because you're going to use this from your internet connected device in the JSON messages to essentially authenticate. And so we'll close out of here. We'll go back to the apps, and you'll be able to see that the demo test with the board notify demo is there. One thing I did forget to mention, let's open this back up. We need to note the account ID, the application ID, and then I already copied the secret. So let's go back. Excuse me. And what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to docs.optconnect.com/documentation. And this essentially pulls up the Summit API documentation, and it's actually interactive. So I can click on these post methods, and it will actually, invoke an HTTPS post using the Summit API to reach down into this EMA. And so the first thing we need to do is we need to authenticate with it. And so that endpoint is accounts login /app secrets. Let's click post. And so you can see the definition here. What you need are those three pieces of information that we just mentioned. You need the account ID, which was 1, the application ID, which I think was 5170, yep, and then the string or the secret, which I've copied into my clipboard. And so we can go up here and we can click, try it out, and that makes this tool interactive. So let's click there. We'll type 1, click here, we'll type 5170, and then we will paste the secret into here, and hopefully I should just do a Control V, and then basically that's it. We'll click execute and we'll see what happens. And so what happened here is we sent the response from the computer. Here's the actual curl HTTP request if you want to use that somewhere else, or it doesn't matter what you're using, as long as you're using HTTPS, you can do this. And so we've made the request. We got a response of code 200. It gave us back an API key and a JSON web token for authentication purposes. So I'm actually going to copy this JSON web token, or I'm going to leave that there right now, but we'll come back to it and we'll copy it in a second. So now that we've authenticated and we've gotten the code 200, we've got our credentials that we will use from here on out for subsequent HTTPS requests on the Summit API. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull up a terminal window that's connected to my EMA here, because we want to see the URC come over that includes the data that we're going to send to it. So if we remember, we go back to the emalink command manual, we're going to get a value of 99 and then the command data that we're going to send. So let me just verify my communications are up. I can see that I'm talking over the emalink interface. I got the AT and the OK, so that's good. So let's go back to the tool and let's scroll down to the board notify endpoint. And that's under the EMA section, and you can see it right here. So you can do board notify two ways. You can do it in a bulk way, and you can do it to an individual device. I just want to do it to this individual device. So again, let's click here. What we're going to need here to make this work is we're going to need the serial number of the EMA, the X API key, and the SDK token header, or the JSON web token, and then we'll enter the data down here. So let's go get the serial number. The serial number for this EMA, I'm going to go back to my list here. It's an online device. If you watched our previous videos, we identified it using board ID right here. So here's the serial number. So let me just click into here so I can copy it easily. There it is. I'll copy that. We'll go back to our interactive API. So let's try it out. Let's enter the serial number, or paste it there. The X API key was returned in the authentication method, and that's right here. So we're going to copy that. We're going to paste that here. The token header was also returned in the authentication request. So let's copy that here. And then we will paste that here as well. And now we're going to enter the data that we want to send. And so we'll just enter something arbitrary. Do something. And so let's see what happens here. So remember, once I click execute, it's going to push this data up through our cloud and down to Emma, so that Emma can do whatever it wants to do with it. And so let's go back and let's hit execute and see what happens. And so we see that we got the response code of 200, which means it should have worked. So let's go back here. And just like magic, you can see the OptConnect URC code 99. There's your data, do something. Now, if I was running this in an embedded system or other, even on this, and I was processing that, I could do whatever I wanted to do. I could wake up if I was in a low power state. I could reach out to a server if I had provided an IP address, or maybe my hardware knows that. So it's a very efficient way to get data down into the device. And so you see in the response, you get the epoch seconds back, which basically tells us when Emma received that data in that format. And so what I'd like to do now is, that summarizes the board notify and how powerful it can be. So we'll go back to Sean and we'll summarize this video.
Well, actually, Matt, I wanted to ask you a question. Why would someone use the board notify feature versus a traditional SMS to wake up their host board? What's the benefits and why would we do that?
So that's a really great question, Sean, and let me see if I can help our audience understand that better. So there's really, outside of board notify, there's a couple common ways that internet connected devices, typically on cellular, reach, ways that they get data back down they get data coming back down from the cloud. The first common way is to sit there and poll a server, basically saying, hey, do you have anything? Do you have anything? You basically send to get data. And when the server has data for the device, it will come back in the response of that request. The problem with that is it's not power efficient and it's not data efficient, because you're constantly polling, whether you're polling, once an hour, once a minute, or every few seconds. It's a lot of data and it's a lot of power, especially when you're talking about a cellular connected device. And so when we talk about board notify, there's no polling mechanism, there's no extra power or data that's used, because we've built it into the management platform to have a very low bandwidth connection that's on and available there through the emaLink interface. So when I make that request and I send the data from any internet connected device, it appears as a URC there, and you can do whatever you want. So that could actually be your cue to wake up and poll that server for more larger amounts of data. The second way that you mentioned, text messaging, is addresses the low power and the low data part of it, but the reliability is not there because a text message is not guaranteed, whereas the board notify feature is built on TCP/IP, so the message is guaranteed.
Right.
The other challenge you run into is a lot of machine-to-machine or IoT devices don't have phone numbers. So you can't easily send a text message to it. You need to get a broker involved, like a Twilio or something like that.
Right. Well, thanks, Matt. To summarize that, it's more energy efficient. It is more reliable. It's faster. And you can also use it as a one-to-one relationship without having to bring in an extra broker to be able to do that. And so this is a huge benefit to customers that are looking to utilize the features, the emaLink management interface features, specifically board notify. We're having a number of customers that are using that to a great success and love it. Again, Emma is not just hardware. This is a complete feature set that's already built. All you got to do is use it. Thanks, and hope you join us for the next emaTechTalk. Talk to you later.
Take care, guys.